Somewhere out there, a civilization just ended, and we're next in line. The universe has 200 billion trillion stars, and yet the sky is dead silent. By the end of this video, you'll see why that silence might be the most terrifying message we've ever received, and why finding life on Mars would be very bad news. Before we go on, if you find this sort of thing worthwhile, a like, a comment and a subscribe genuinely help. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers are absurd. Our galaxy alone has around 400 billion stars. Most of them have planets. A conservative estimate says billions of those planets sit in habitable zones, with liquid water, stable orbits and the right chemistry. The Milky Way is 13 billion years old. That's plenty of time for civilizations to rise, spread, and reshape entire star systems. If just one species had gotten a million-year head start on us, they could have colonized the entire galaxy by now, several times over. So here's the question the physicist Enrico Fermi asked in 1950, over lunch, in one blunt sentence: where is everybody? We look up, we point radio telescopes, we scan for heat signatures, we search for laser pulses. Nothing. Not a whisper. The universe should be crowded. Instead, it feels like an empty theatre with the lights still on. In 1996, an economist named Robin Hanson proposed a chilling answer. He called it the Great Filter. The idea goes like this. For a planet to produce a galaxy-spanning civilization, it has to pass through a series of steps. You need the right chemistry. You need life to actually start. You need single cells to become complex cells. You need complex life to become intelligent life. You need intelligence to build technology. And then you need that technology to survive long enough to reach the stars. Somewhere along that chain, Hansen argued, there must be a filter. A step so unlikely or so deadly that almost nothing gets past it. Because if nothing was blocking the path, the galaxy would be full. It isn't. So something is stopping civilizations from making it out. The only question is where. And the answer determines whether humanity has a future. Here's the hopeful version. Maybe the filter is behind us. Maybe we've already passed it. Look at how weird our history is. Life on Earth started shockingly fast, within about 1 billion years of the planet cooling. That happened once. But then for nearly 2 billion years, life stayed as simple bacteria. Nothing more complicated. Then one single time, a bacterium swallowed another bacterium and didn't digest it. That accident created the complex cell. Every plant, every animal, every human, every mushroom traces back to that one merger. It may have been a 1 in a trillion event. If that's the filter, we're in the clear. Multicellular life, brains, language, agriculture, industry. We've cleared every hurdle. The Milky Way is quiet because we're the freak accident, the lucky ones. In this version, the future is wide open. We could colonize the galaxy ourselves. Nobody's stopping us because nobody else made it this far. Now the terrifying version. What if the filter is ahead of us? What if the reason the galaxy is silent is that every civilization, sooner or later, hits a wall it can't climb? Think about the walls we're building right now. Nuclear weapons, engineered pandemics, runaway climate change, ecosystem collapse, misaligned artificial intelligence. Each of these is a technology that didn't exist a century ago, and any one of them could, in principle, end us. And here's the pattern. The same intelligence that lets a species build spaceships also lets it build weapons. Progress and self-destruction come from the same brain. Maybe every civilization eventually invents something it can't control. Maybe the great filter isn't a barrier to becoming smart. It's a barrier to staying alive once you are. If that's true, the silence in the sky isn't peaceful. It's a graveyard. Billions of species that lit up briefly and then burned out. And we're just the next candle. Here's the twist that most people miss. You'd think finding alien life would be wonderful. A microbe on Mars, a biosignature on a distant planet. Proof we're not alone. But the philosopher Nick Bostrom argues that would actually be the worst news in human history. Think about why. If life is common in the universe, then the early steps, the chemistry, the first cells, aren't the filter. Those are easy, which means the filter is later, which means the filter is probably ahead of us. The more life we find, the more evidence that something reliably kills civilizations before they escape their home planet. So every time a Mars rover comes back with a clean sample, some scientists breathe a quiet sigh of relief. An empty universe is scary. But a universe full of dead worlds and no living neighbours? That's a universe where the filter is waiting for us too. This is the open loop. I promised, the silence and the emptiness are actually the good outcome. So what do we do with all this? First, we take existential risks seriously, not as science fiction, but as engineering. If there's even a small chance the filter is ahead, then preventing extinction is the single most important problem humans can work on. Bigger than any war, bigger than any economy. Second, we spread out. A species on one planet is a species with one life. A species on 2 planets or 10 is much harder to kill. Third, we keep looking. Every telescope we point at the sky, every sample we scoop off Mars, every signal we scanned for. These are clues about where the filter sits. And finally, we take the silence personally. Because here's the strange gift of the Fermi paradox. It tells you that your choices, your generation's choices, might matter on a cosmic scale. Not because we're important, but because we might be the only ones left who can still choose. So what do you think? Is the filter behind us, or waiting somewhere in the next few centuries? Would you actually want to find life on Mars, knowing what it might mean? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this made you look at the night sky a little differently, subscribe. There's a lot more silence to explain.